Hi, welcome to Rate My Gadget, and I'm going to show you how to save money and water and the planet by fixing a leaking toilet seal. So let's see what I'm talking about. So you might have the same as me, in which what you can see here is that the toilet is slowly leaking water into the bowl. You can see that here on the back. Now it may be more severe or less severe, but over time, obviously, if you're on a water meter, this is going to cost you money. Even if you're not on a water meter, you're obviously wasting good, clean, fresh water, which isn't good for the environment. So the reason for this is usually that the seal at the bottom of the flush system is no longer tight. Now you may need a new part, or you might just find actually that taking it out, giving it a clean, and then putting it back in fixes it. First things first, however, you've got to find the isolator. So the isolator will be, and I'll show you, it will be one pipe. See that pipe there? It will look like that with a braided hose, and it will have an isolation on it. Now, one thing I should say, if you are nervous about any of this, do seek professional plumbing advice. However, once you've isolated it, it's pretty, safe. So the isolation I've got on here needs a screwdriver, just a flathead to turn that. And then the way that you check it is you flush the toilet and make sure that there's no water. And the reason you're doing that, I'll show you why you're doing that. Lid off here. Make sure you're careful with that. Don't just drop it. Put it onto a towel or something. There you go. Now what you're trying to do is this flush system here, if I push this down, this will immediately fill up with water. And you want this system to be emptied. Okay, so the first thing to check before you disassemble everything is where the water line is. If the water line is going over the top here, so if I keep doing this, if I show you what I mean, okay, if I hold that down and keep going, eventually what will happen is the water will leak over the top. Okay, so that means it's a bit of a safety system, which it means that over the top of the valve, the water basically can't flood the system. Okay, now if this is happening to you, in which you think actually the water level is too high, all you do is that screw there, you tighten that so that it pulls the lever down. Okay. If, however, after you've tried this, it's still leaking through, then you know you've got a problem at the seal at the bottom, so you do need to isolate this. So let me show you. So let me first of all isolate it. Okay, so I've isolated that now with that tap, okay, on the side. Now when I flush it, hold that down, get rid of all the water out of the system. What shouldn't happen is there shouldn't be any more water coming in from the bottom. Now if there is a little bit of water, then you know you haven't fully isolated, and you can see actually it looks like I haven't fully isolated because you can see it. Now then, the seal is at the bottom of this flush system, and what you'll find is, and do check that your design is the same as this one, or for a push button, you'll find that there's a clip arrangement. So all you're doing is this system, you're just turning it a quarter of a turn, doesn't need a lot, so a quarter of a turn anti-clockwise, like so. Okay, so that's now clipped like that, that's now loose, and just lift that up. Now do be careful, because there'll be water contained in this unit. Okay, so put it either in the sink or a bath, or a bucket, whatever, just lift it straight up in that orientation and turn it upside down. You'll see how some water just came out of it then. And this is the seal that's going at the bottom. You can see mine's really gunked up and horrid. Okay. Now, what you might be able to do is clean that seal, and it gives you a better seal at the bottom. But first things first, before we get to that, go back into the toilet system. This plastic housing here, put your finger around and make sure there's no cracks in it. Okay, or anything like that. If there are cracks in it, then regardless of the seal, hold on, let me zoom in on that. Yeah, if there are cracks in here, then regardless of the seal, you're going to have to replace that. And you can, that's not too big a job to replace those. You can do that again. It's like a push fit in there. If there aren't any cracks, then you go over to the seal system. Okay. Now what you can do is you can clean off all this rubbish and gunk and stuff. My one, you can see the rubber is pretty deteriorated on the bottom here, so I'm going to have to replace mine. So let me show you how you do that. So this is what you'll need. The links are at the bottom. So this is the replacement seal system. This one happens to be a kind of translucent white, but basically this is a push fit that goes onto the bottom of there. And the instructions are in here, but in essence I'll show you what you have to do. Here, this bit here is a clip fit. So all you do is you get a Phillips screwdriver or a knife or something under there, pull that away, take the seal off, and then put the new seal on. Okay, so let me show you. Yeah, okay, so what you're trying to do now is this little plastic housing here, because you've got a replacement one, you're just trying to pull that away, okay? So you can there you go, okay? So eventually it pops out like that, all right? So you've got to give it a bit of pressure, and as long as you've got a replacement one of these, which you will in the pack, in the link, then this is just a retaining clip, okay? Do check that yours isn't a unlocking mechanism, that it is a clip one. Then what will happen, this rubber, which is pretty shot, you can see my one is torn around the edges. Yeah, that could be big. Clean up this, just with an old cloth, something like that, make sure this is all clean. So what you're doing is you're taking a new clip and you're taking a new rubber seal, okay? And what you want is the rubber seal to be on the outside, so it needs to be there, okay? All right, not round that orientation, around that orientation, yeah? All you do is the opposite. So just hold that out, get this rubber seal, push that onto there, like that, okay? And then you get your new clip and you literally just push it in, okay? Now it's a bit fiddly, but you want to push it in if you can, at a bit of an angle, then eventually it will click. Yeah, and then that's it, that's gone in. That's your new seal, okay? And then that is that's just a new seal of that, and as you can see, mine was pretty terrible and worn, right? So, that's it. So let me now make sure you line up the little tags just before a little bit, twist it, and it will clip, and that's it, okay? Turn the water back on, flush it, and then that's it. So, thanks for watching. I hope that's helped. Please do leave any questions or comments down at the bottom, and please do subscribe and please like. Thanks.